Well, hello, my darlings, and welcome to the Just Jack's podcast. And happy Canada Day today for my fellow Canadian listeners. And we have quite a treat for you today. We are talking with a mindset transformationalist. That's what I call her, Brenda Johnston. And she is also a fellow Canadian. And how fun is it that this episode is launching on Canada Day? We are going to share today how one guided meditation just slammed me face first into my own resistance. I dropped every ounce of trust the moment that future self script began. Oh my God, full body eye roll. My inner voice was just screaming, "This is absolute bullshit. I paid all this money for this. This is ridiculous." Yet I stayed. And well, Brenda, well, she just waited and watched and held space, for she knew what's going to follow. And what followed reshaped my healing map in a puzzle piece style, which means that there was no grand fireworks or aha moment necessarily, other than the fact that I knew exactly what I needed to do. And that quiet click echoed for months. And today's episode is going to share that exact pivot, that spiritual faceplant, the shift I never planned, and a fellow Canadian friend that I picked up along the way. Let's dive in right to the interview, shall we? Well, hello, darling, and welcome to the Just Jax podcast. Hi, I'm Jax, and I help you find the can in your can't. When we challenge our can'ts, miracles happen, because when I challenged mine of I can't draw, I can't paint, and I can't color, imagine my surprise when I discovered what I can do is create a 21-foot garden mural that was recently featured not once but twice on the front page of our local newspaper. Next up, I challenge the I'm no author, no artist, and no cursive writing specialist, but what I can do is self-publish 3 books for my kick-ass cursive writing curriculum, Crack the Cursive Code. I'm a jack of all trades, but what I master in is helping ordinary people like me to do extraordinary things through laughter, tears, life-changing stories, because metaphors are my jam. Together we can find the can in your can'ts, the do's in your don'ts, and the wills in your won'ts. I'm so excited for you. Let's go.
Love it.
I am very excited and very nervous about this episode because,
Why are you nervous?
because you're kind of like a big deal, and
Oh my God, come on now. Come
and
on.
yeah, it's one of the things I have, and so this is good.
I
Wow,
love
I'm
this.
getting emotional. Wow. Anyway,
I'm glad I still have
um,
that effect on you. Say hello. Hello.
hello. Let me do a small bit of an introduction. This is Brenda Johnston. She is a subconscious mindset transformationalist. That's my own little word that we're going to use there. And I was skeptical as fuck to work with her, but I had seen some of the fruits of your labor with other people, other podcasts that I had listened to, and I was part of the transformation of what they went through. But I was a clinically trained hypnotist, and I was a hypnosis snob. And I really struggled with wanting to see you, but something in my heart clicked, and I knew that I had to see you, and that was it. And
You were like, you say you were nervous, but I was also nervous because when somebody who comes in and knows hypnosis, it can be tricky, right? Because we can have preconceived notions about stuff. So I was probably just as nervous as you were, just so you know.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad we were healing first both then. That's great.
Yeah, and it's hard because also I'm all about making things very practical. I like to make things practical. So when I'm doing like the hypnosis stuff and when I'm working with people, I'm also we're working with your energy and your frequency. So that piece of it can sound a little woo-woo, but it's science.
But that's the difference between you and everyone else. And the practices that we went through were something I'd never been through before. But the feeling that I had, I just had to see you. And it's hard to explain because there was no way in my realm of where I live that there was any else a way that I could. But what did you see in me that I couldn't see when we had our consultation? Because you don't take everyone.
Oh, I don't take everyone because not everybody's ready to take the actions. And what I really liked about you, because yes, it is an investment, but I really liked that you didn't try to force yourself to go into debt to do it. You're like, you know what? I really want to work with you. I just need a few months. And I was like, yes, yes, because that shows me one, that you really, like, I could feel it in your energy too, but you really were like, I'm fucking tired of the shit, the way it's been going. And I got to clear some stuff out. I really could sense with you, like, you were ready to take action. And I love working. I say I work with women. I work with men too, but like 90% of them are women. But I love working with the women like you, or who are like high integrity, high capacity, don't fuck around. Like, let's get in there. Let's do some stuff and let's move forward. Like, that's what I could feel in you. And I was like, yes, I want to work with her.
Good, because I'm glad. I'm very glad. Um, I love this question. So I had AI write some questions. They're gonna go over the moment I wanted to quit your program. Okay. Did I ever tell you that? I think I told you that.
Yeah, there was a couple moments. This is also what I liked about you though, because you could look at the situations, like self-awareness was amazing. And then you'd kind of talk yourself through them. And I would just wait until you were done talking yourself through it. Like in the text message, because we have text support, you'd
Mhm.
have the whole, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't wanna-" Oh, okay. Well, it was fascinating to watch because you had self-awareness and you came at things with curiosity, which is really important, versus like judging. But I want to hear from you what was going through your head at that time.
Okay. So I also want to put a disclaimer here. You may never have this practice if you work with Brenda. There is no cookie cutter thing. I've listened to your podcast. I've heard people talk about their experience with you, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about because
Yeah.
you go by the energy of what that person needs and you 100% tailor make it to the person.
Yeah.
So, for me, um, energy must have told you about this because it's now part of my daily practice in my mind now of what came from that event. But it was, I think, our fourth episode. Fuck am I talking about podcasts? Our fourth time together because there's eight sessions that you get when you work with you. But in the fourth session was when we did the future meditation. Oh fuck, was I mad? Oh my god, I thought this is just a crock of fucking shit, man. Because all the NLP stuff came in, and all I thought about all this feel good kumbaya shit that I was mad. But I saw her. I did see her. But afterwards, I thought this is just a waste of money. I could have just went to Hypno Thoughts in Vegas like I went before and got the exact same thing sitting there in the chair. I was so mad. So mad. And I thought, well, there's got to be a reason for that. And then I realized that a lot of it was to do with the stuff we were working on in my family because I was never allowed to get excited about things. I was never allowed to plan for stuff because my family would sabotage it with the dynamics that were going there. I always had to be rescued by whatever was going on. I never mentally. That was about my third podcast came from that, where I had to mentally grow up because you can physically leave home and still mentally be there.
100%.
100%. So you have to actually mentally grow up when you realize that you are responsible for you and it's time to take care of you. And that was when that all started to come through that session. Because it just, yeah, that, oh. Do you have other people that respond to your stuff like I did?
Yeah, I think people respond to different things in different ways. It also has to do, I mean, you had a lot of trapped emotional energy too that we had to clear out. Like you had energetic hairballs, is what I'm going to call them.
Mhm.
So as we're removing, and listen, I'm not her healer. I'm not doing the healing for her or any of you. I'm guiding you through a process. I'm connecting with the beliefs and the energy so I know where we need to go, but it's your body and your energy guiding me so that I can guide you. So as we were clearing out the layers, because we have layers and we all have thousands of trapped emotions, we don't need to get rid of them all. But you had some very specific ones that were coming up, I believe, before and after that session, especially after that session that made you angry. That we needed to clear because they were affecting your beliefs, which was affecting your ability to believe that it was safe to get excited about stuff. So it's about creating the space and creating supporting beliefs to help your growth is really what we were doing. But that was uncomfortable for you because you've never done that, and your energy and your brain were like, uh I don't, this feels weird to me.
Well, what we were tackling was, like you were saying, the trapped emotions. There was a lot that happened around my mom. It was interesting on
Mhm.
how you'll have to catch the episode after this one on how I got a 50-year-old miracle right after.
You know what's really cool about this story? It's validation of how this works. So there was a lot of generational stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have common emotions, we can absorb emotions from other people, we can inherit them from parents. And you had several that you had inherited from your mother. So as we're clearing those out, not only are you clearing yourself, you were clearing her and however many generations it went back. So isn't that interesting that when you cleared that and healed the generations, this
It
happens?
it's very strange, and it's difficult for my mom because she's, I don't know, what do you call a person that's older than a boomer? Jurassic? Like, I don't know, like, what the hell?
I don't even know what is before. I don't even know what's
I don't
before a
know,
boomer.
but she's before boomers. Like, she's born in 1942, so she's like a World War II baby, kind of whatever. She's back there. Anyway, um, at that time, parenting was survival for a lot of situations like that, and there was a very strong arm needed for parenting, and there was no emotional health or mental health whatsoever. So my mother has had a very difficult time finding the help that she needs or admitting that she needs the help, and she has been um, trying, I guess, that in the best way that she can to reach out, and it has been awkward,
Hmm.
but since working with you, I have no emotion towards it. I'm just like,
I would like to hope that you still have emotion, but you're just not attached to it.
that's better. Um, except where I got another random thing, which I'll show you. She sent me this letter. Okay, now it's for full effect. You need to see it. It has this in here.
Oh,
Do you know who
okay.
that
And
is?
landers. Wow, that is some old stuff.
Dude, right? Okay, now you can see by the piece of paper it's about a daughter that attempts reunion with dad. Okay, and she sent me this apology of went on with her and dad and all this kind of stuff. Now, I responded to her, and that was actually, I just recorded that episode, and it's pretty cool. But I responded with a boundary, and she hasn't really talked to me since.
Hmm. But like, what does it feel like for you now to be able to have these conversations with her and not get like that emotional charge inside of you?
Well, the only problem I have with the way I am right now is that it's misconstrued and misunderstood as that everything is fine. Everything
Mm.
is fine in my response to the events that happened. I have taken the tears. I have salted my ground. I've taken the shit. I've done the fertilizer. You've helped me. I'm growing and all the things are happening that it's really good. But every time that my family interacts with me or she interacts with me, it's like, well, how can you be happy? Then obviously nothing happened. I'm like, no.
But you also made a good, like, she's from that generation that they just don't understand. Even the boomer generation. Like, I'm 50 years old, so I have to look at things also and go, okay, well, my parents and all of our parents did the best they could with what they had. So when you start to look at it from the bigger picture,
Mhm.
stuff makes sense. I'm not saying it is right. I'm saying it makes sense. And then it's like, oh, so do I want to put my energy into focusing on that pain, or do I want to transform it and move forward? The other thing I really liked about you when we first met, you didn't use your trauma as a crutch. A lot of people don't want to let go of that label because who are you if you heal the trauma, right? And so there's many people who just want to keep holding on to the trauma, and you
What-
didn't. You were like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, I know it's here. I want to deal with it so I can move forward. Like, you didn't want to stay stuck back there.
well, somebody has to be the chain breaker, and that's me.
Mm,
And
mhm.
I have played the long game to be the chain breaker, and some of that has been very, very difficult to do. I'm seeing the fruit of it now, but I chose to be the chain breaker. And when you do that, like my mom used to sneer to me, why do you have to be so different? Well, it's because I'm the chain breaker. That's why I have to be so different, because I
Yeah,
have to be different.
it's up
Uh,
to, I mean, it's up to, I'm the same in my family. One of my little cousins, she's not little, she's in her 20s, but like
yeah, yeah, I
we're
get it. Yeah.
we're like the two black sheep of the family is what we call
Hmm.
ourselves because we're so different and we are the ones breaking all of that generational crap.
Yes. And it's tough because being a retired soap opera drama queen, I'm probably the most celebrated chaos person in my family. Everyone else went to university and married one person and stayed with that person and did all the things that society would check off in boxes, and I basically shit all over that list. And my brother
Oof.
did too.
I
So
mean, I did some of those box checking offs and realized pretty quick that that's not how I was meant to be living.
exactly, no,
Like,
yeah,
no,
I'm
thank
still.
you.
But I think one of the biggest takeaways from your work is that it was safe for me to be me, and it was safe for me to take care of me, because one of the biggest feelings I think that I had with my mom that you helped me diffuse, which I still have no idea how you did that, honestly. But one of the things was that I am no longer responsible for my mother's feelings.
Yeah.
And I am allowed to be responsible for mine. And that I think has been the biggest shift that has happened since working with you, is this strange confidence of it's I am to validate myself. And I am to take care of myself. And that future person that I see is who I am if I do those things.
Yeah.
And so I can only get there if I do that. And
Yes.
right?
You just said something so important. There's all these people out there doing like the highest future potential self stuff and future self stuff, and they're not talking about that's that's who you are now, okay? But you just explained it beautifully. You're like, "But if I want to get to the next level, the next highest version of myself, I have to take the actions." Yes. It's
Yeah.
like if we want to reach our highest frequency, if we want to talk about it like that, you have to keep taking the actions to get you there. And I think that's the piece that a lot of people don't, I don't want to say that they don't focus on it, but they don't like commit to that. And so even with you, not only were we helping you release stuff from your nervous system, but we were creating the new beliefs. So we had to create the beliefs that it was safe for you to speak your truth, that it was safe for you to be you. Like, I feel like when we were working through a lot of the belief work, some of those were the hardest ones for you to change. And I mean, I'm saying that, but we changed them in a matter of like 5 minutes. But like when we were testing those statements, those were, you're like, nah, I can't even say that.
Well, you'd ask me just to say something that I can say for myself now. I try to think one of the statements would be, well, that I'm worthy of success for just being myself. Like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. But that was one of the parts that was for me, is that's actually what you did, is that you took my areas that I was like just losing my shit in my area. I just couldn't get solid ground, either treading water like a duck, constantly treading water, trying to look calm, but nothing would just sit. And when we were working together, then there were these strange statements that you would come up with, or I would come up with, the energy would tell you.
I
And I'm
was
like,
going to say, your energy was telling me what we
yeah.
needed to work on.
And you'd
So,
look at me and I'm like, nope. She's gonna come up with a dinger, and yep, that's exactly what happened. I could just feel what you were gonna say, and there was no way I could say it. And then we would go through our practice or process, and then I could say it. And that's exactly what it was. It gave me the safe space to say those things, because there was no way in my life that I had a safe space to say anything like that ever.
so was it hard? The work we did, was it hard? Like changing beliefs?
No, no. I think the only thing that's required is a willingness and the
Yeah.
curiosity, like you said. Well, people go, what do you mean by being curious? Just do it and allow it to just be what it's going to be. And it was interesting because afterwards, I feel any different because it's sneaky that way. Because you
Well, and when
could,
we're changing the beliefs during sessions, we're using whole brain activation. But
Mhm.
it's like, I would say the being curious part is just not being judgmental and not having expectations. And also, and this is a part that's hard for me to quantify to people, because they're like, well, how do I know it's working? One, you stop asking, how do I know it's working? Because we're making transformation on a subconscious and energetic level, so that when you're out and about on doing conscious things, you just do them differently. And then I get text messages going, you know, this would have like severely triggered me before, and now I was just so peaceful.
it frustrated me because I'm like, I want on this podcast to explain to people, to help her explain your work. But the more I think about it, it's harder, because if I explain the work for me, that will only be the work for me, because that was the work for me.
Yeah, and like you said, like, nothing is cookie cutter, and what I'm essentially doing, because this is something I've really been thinking about these past several months, I'm like, "How do I explain?" Well, I'm really helping you live your life and create things based on how your energy is designed, how you work, how your beliefs need to be formed. So, really, and I like what you called me at the beginning of this, but what I've been saying to people is like, I'm a subconscious and energetic design strategist, because I'm helping you come out of your shell. I'm connecting people to their purpose, essentially. But that just sounds airy fairy. So I don't want to be like,
Yeah.
I'm connecting you to your purpose. No,
Or
thank
getting
you.
to the real you. It's been so overused. That's why
Oh,
I guess it's
so
difficult.
overused.
It's so overused.
Talk about, oh, I'm helping people connect to abundance. What is that? That's so airy fairy. That abundance is such a vague term.
It's just funny that you bring that word up. I am no longer asking for abundance. Do you
No.
realize I have an abundance of weight on my body? I have an abundance of cursive writing books right behind me. I have an abundance of clothing that I don't wear. I have an abundance of products. I have lots of abundance. I am surrounded by abundance, but does that abundance serve me? So I need to be a little bit more specific when I'm asking for things, maybe more prosperity, because that means that something's already working for me. So I want to be
Yeah.
prosperous. No more abundance. That sounds horrible, but I am done. I have hair products. I have abundance of hair products.
That
I have
doesn't sound awful to me at all. I'm like,
if none of them work, that is very frustrating. So I have an abundance of things like that. So I want to change that abundance energy to be something that works for me more than just I
yeah,
bought it out of fear because so
more in
woo.
line with who you are and how your energy works. And listen, I'm the first one to admit I used to talk about abundance all the time,
Mhm.
but like it's not, things are changing. We're moving into a new era, you know?
Age of
People,
Aquarius, man.
yeah, people, it's different. And again, not woo woo. This is science, 400-year cycles we're talking about here, but like people are not investing in things the same. We're burnt out, man. We're burnt out from the fluff and the grifters and the scammers and the people out there who sell us on these things and then don't deliver what they said they're going to deliver. I can't tell you the amount of money I've invested in people who left me feeling more confused than clear.
Mhm.
And we're moving out of that era because people are just so tired of that. So that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because it's very much about the individual. I'm not doing the stuff for you. I'm giving you the tools. I want you to be self accountable. I'm teaching you how to self lead. This is, and this is a word that keeps coming into my head and I'm using it more and more. This is about frequency led leadership now, man. This is about
Ooh, I
showing
like
up
that.
who we are, authentically who we are, and doing the things we love to do because we love to do them. Not because we're
Mhm.
just like, "Oh, I just wanna do this so I can make a bunch of money."
Mhm.
You can try to do that if you just wanna make a bunch of money, but the whole point is, like, to make an impact in people's lives. I wanted to help make an impact in your life. Like, we wouldn't be having this conversation, I don't think, had I not accomplished that.
Yes. In more ways than one, darling. All right. So, I want to talk about the moment I got the money to do this work. From your perspective, what happens energetically when someone finally says yes to themselves? Good question.
Oh my god. When
Isn't that a
you
good
when
question?
you the moment you say yes to yourself on a subconscious level and an energetic level, because they work together, you've just opened yourself up to possibilities and potentials. Now the top of my head is tingling because we're having a great conversation. But like the moment you say yes to yourself, now your subconscious goes, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna find the possibilities and potentials that were probably right in front of her before, but she didn't see them because she was closed off." Your energy gets more expansive. It becomes a match to the things you're trying to call in. Now, that's the part that does sound woo woo, but again, it's science. We have energy that goes out. We are like cell phone towers. Energy is pinging at us and going out all day long. You said yes to yourself, your energy went out, your subconscious was like, okay, I'm open to having more possibilities. Show me what's possible. You know what? One of my favorite things to say is, I'll just play this game where I'm like, well, how does it get even better than this?
Hmm.
Because your subconscious mind, and you already kind of touched on this, so it doesn't like the word not or no or whatever, the negatives. When you learn to speak to your subconscious in a way that it likes, it's really cool. Because if you ask your mind a question, it'll give you an answer. The challenge is most people are asking stupid questions, so they're getting stupid answers.
Why does this always happen to me? Well, it's always happened to
Yes.
you because you said it always happens to you.
Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
you asked a better question.
Hmm.
How can I make this work?
Hmm.
Subconscious was like, well, we'll find a bunch of ways that you might be able to make this work.
Oh, it says here you call yourself a subconscious strategist, but let's be real. What's the thing you wish people actually understood about the subconscious?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Isn't that a good one?
Yeah. So, two things. One, and I kind of already touched on it, your subconscious can be your best friend, your best partner. It is the coolest computer in the universe, so to speak, but you have to learn how to talk to it. So, first thing is if you learn to talk to your subconscious mind and work with it, not against it, that's what seems like magic, first of all. Second, listen, I love manifesting and manifestation. I've been creating things since I was a little kid. I wish people understood that a key component of manifesting something is your subconscious mind. Because if you do not actually believe the things are possible for you, you're never going to take the actions to get them. And manifestation simply means to make something real, to bring it into your reality. So if I'm sitting here trying to manifest something that my system, my subconscious doesn't feel safe having, it's going to do everything it possibly can to stop me from getting the thing because it's trying to protect me. All these people that are like, "Oh, your subconscious mind, it's going to sabotage you. It's self-sabotage." Is it, or is it protecting you?
More
Like,
protection.
maybe let's change the relationship we have with it and go, "Man, thank you for protecting me from that because I wasn't ready to have it yet." Like, I had a client I was working with the other day, and she's expanding her business. She's scaling her business. And she's been struggling to break through this massive, she's struggling to get to 7 figures, okay? And I was like, you have to look at what's going on here because your subconscious is simply saying to you, we're not ready for
Warning,
that yet.
warning. Yep.
Yeah, it's just protecting you. Now she knows why, because she had some fears around speaking her truth and bringing people in because she's been burned. She's had staff who stole from her essentially. And so expansion to her subconscious mind was like, no, I don't want to do this. And she didn't have the systems in place that she needed. Like, that's what I really wish people would understand is our subconscious creates our energetic frequency, and our subconscious is actually really easy to work with. We just have to know how.
Give me some. You have 3 different statements that you do in your affirmations. They have 3 different beginnings. I have latched onto my life support on one of them. It is the best thing since sliced bread because, like in my first episode about building on your cans, you have to build them up. And the
Yeah.
one you have where I am the type of person, if you have anything in your life that works right, you can do it again because you've done it once. So I
Yeah.
have even a game that I've done where I win big prizes. And you know what I
Hmm.
said to it? I'm the type of person that wins big prizes. Why do I have to
Yeah.
limit it to that? I
Right?
Yeah.
Because you've now learned how to talk to your subconscious mind. So,
Mhm.
all the generic affirmations where people are like, I am this and I am that. Cool. But, like, if I'm sitting here going, I am a multimillionaire, my subconscious mind's going, you're full of shit. But if I say,
Look
I'm
at
the
your
type
bank
of,
account. I know what your bank account says right now. Like whatever.
right? That's what it does to people. So,
Mhm.
but if I say, I'm the type of person that is a millionaire or multimillionaire, subconscious mind goes, oh, yeah, that's a true statement. The thing with affirmations is, and this is what messes people up, we say the affirmations in present tense. But if we're saying them in present tense, I am this, and it's not true, we're creating a subconscious conflict.
Mhm.
So our conscious mind is going, this is true. And our subconscious is going, you're full of shit. So
Mhm.
when we say the loophole is, I'm the type of person that, or you say, I'm choosing to, one of my
Mhm.
favorites,
Mhm.
or I'm in the process of. All of
Mhm.
those things then create present moment statements that your subconscious mind hears and goes, oh, yeah, I am that type of person. Or, yeah, I am in the process of doing this. I am choosing to do this. It drives me nuts. And this is kind of a rant and has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. It drives me nuts because I'm 50, okay? And there's all these trainers and people out there now talking about perimenopause and menopause and all these people talking about how horrible life is and blah, blah, blah. I've never felt better because I've always had the belief that I'm going to choose to glide through this and feel great.
Mhm.
And I do. So it
Mm-hmm.
drives me mental when people are so focused on the shit they don't want versus what they do want. You can literally, I'm choosing to feel great now. I'm choosing to have a lot of energy right now. If I get up in the morning and I'm exhausted, the first thing I start saying to myself, I'm choosing to be full of energy right now. Because then subconscious mind goes, yeah, we're choosing to be full of energy. Cool. Because now I'm speaking to it as a partner versus demonizing it.
Well, and all it does is bring more shame, right? And then you get into a spiral and you do nothing. And one of the things you said I had to write down, you never take the actions to get them. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people like, they think, well, I need to go do these big things. No, if you start with a small belief, then a small step, because there's a
Yeah.
very big power of the power of 1 degree. And a friend of mine said that to me once when I was doing this transition because I was going through a hard time because I looked the same on the outside. But I'm the same but different. I was different on the inside. And there was no way to prove it, and nor did I tell anyone I was different. I never told a single solitary soul that I saw you, really. Because I thought that's another test. People are going to have to tell. They're going to have to be able to tell, and me tell without telling people that it was going to be something. And it was interesting because I would have something that would come up and I'd be like, wow, I don't react that way. And it would just be a calming. Well, that's one thing too, is that it's not a fairy godmother thing. It helps you just get more clarity of who you are and what you need. I guess that's why it's so hard to explain what you do, because
Well, and this is going to sound so cliche, and it kind of makes me want to throw up on myself saying it, but like, it really is about reconnecting you or connecting you to yourself. Most of
yes,
us have been so disconnected from who we are. We can't tune into our intuition. We don't trust ourselves. We can't feel that inner guidance. So it really is about you connecting back in, or in some cases connecting. I have many women who are like, I've never felt connected. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
well, it
We're
wasn't safe to
plugging you
do
back
so.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Especially because, listen, women of our age group, we were all raised a certain way. Like, I was taught weakness was bad and you couldn't show emotion because that was weakness. And in corporate, oh my God, don't show emotion in corporate. I mean, they're different now, so I hear. But like, I don't know. It's just, this is why I love doing what I do. And how when I explain to people, I'm like, trumpets aren't going to go off and angels aren't going to be singing and you're going to be like, oh, I'm
right,
transformed.
right.
You're just going to go about your daily life and things are going to feel different, or they're going to get easier, or you're going to like open to receive more.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it was the same but different.
Yeah.
I was different, but it was and that was the hardest part, because you're thinking, oh, I should have some life changing. My hair should go blonde for this kind of thing or whatever. And I'm like, no, because if you think about how much shit I was carrying, like, how would you tell if I was carrying it from the outside? Because there's no way to tell. People, I've been carrying it and faking it for such a long time. I no longer had to fake it. That's, I guess, the difference. And
Yeah.
that's
And I
the
think that's a massive difference. I think that might have been the podcast that I came out today on my show. Is I was talking about how I originally created my success. I was performing success and I was really good at performing.
Mhm.
But we don't wanna do that. We wanna create based on how our energy is designed, how we are designed. And when you start to understand that, things just become easier and more fun. And I'm not saying there's not gonna be hard times, you're not gonna go through stuff, but the way you go through it changes.
Well, exactly. Well, it's like this for this podcast. I had my entire podcast all organized and done, and it went, and the entire thing was erased. The entire thing.
What?
I cannot tell you how many times my episodes have been erased, like just gone. They don't, whatever. So I've had to redo things multiple times in the strangest ways. I've had to do them multiple times, but none of those have caused me stress. Not a single solitary one. So, but yeah, I love this. So, a perfect segue. What is a belief you had about success that you had to delete in order to do this work?
Mm. There's a couple. The biggest one. Okay, first I need to tell you a funny story. So once
Okay.
I was certified in hypnosis and all the things, because I worked in marketing for 24 years, right? Marketing and
Oh,
advertising.
okay.
So completely shifting gears and being like, I'm going to do this now. I had this belief that people weren't going to take me serious. So for over a year, I didn't tell people about the hypnosis. It was really funny because people would find out through word of mouth, and I was working with executives who worked in the corporate place that I was in. Like they
Mm.
were coming to me under the table, so to speak, to be like, "Can you help me with this?" And I was like, "Yeah." So a big belief was that I was not going to be taken seriously doing what I do.
Mhm.
Because why would somebody just up and leave a 24-year career and go do something else? Well, because my soul was literally screaming, "Get out. Get
Yep.
out of here." The biggest belief that I had to transform was that success had to be hard. So, and what I mean by that is my brain was used to corporate land. So I had to be at my desk at 8:30. I had to do my stuff. I had to leave at a certain time. I had to bust my ass just to make the salary I made. So my brain, when I started doing this work and I wasn't working like 8 to 12 hours a day, was kind of like, well, you don't deserve to make money then because you're not really working.
Classification of work, what work is.
Yeah. And so what happened when I used to have two offices outside of my home. And what happened was the one office was about an hour away. So there's 2 hours of driving right there. But I would go to that office and I would stack my day so heavy with like 8 people that I was working 12 to 14 hours. So what I had done was I recreated my corporate job and it was
Mhm.
horrible. And like the money doesn't have like it doesn't have to be hard to make money. That was such a big belief that I had to change. Now, I'm not saying you can go sit on your couch and wait for the money to fall on your face. Again, you have to take actions. You have to do the things. My biggest boundary that I had to set was I don't start seeing people until 1 o'clock my time.
Get on my head. I was just thinking about your 1 o'clock thing. Like, seriously.
Yeah, because I want to get up. I want to go for a walk with my dog. I want to be in the forest. I want to go to the gym. I want to enjoy my breakfast. I want to ease into things. Now, I'll see people later at night, like I'll go later, but my mornings are precious to me. And that's what makes me
That is,
better
yeah.
for all of you that I see because I give myself the mornings.
That is, with my new job that I have now, I've taken away my mornings, and it has impacted me more than I'm realizing, because I'm falling behind on things because I always had my mornings to do stuff, and now I'm home at 2:30, which is great. But I've already worked a full day mentally and emotionally by then, by 2:30, that I really don't want to do anything after work, and so I have
Mhm.
to figure it out and figure out what to
And
do because
that's
I
part of the piece where it's like we have to sometimes do the things we don't want it. So when I was leaving corporate, I took the year before I left to build my business. So I would work all day in corporate and then I would go to my office and work for another 4 hours. I looked at life and building the business as like a crossword puzzle, and when I had a space, I would fill it in with something. And I mean, at the time, I needed to do that because I wasn't just gonna up and leave my corporate job because that's dumb, but it was hard. Sometimes we have to do the hard things to get to the place where you can go, "You know what? I'm not gonna start seeing clients until 1 o'clock." And
well,
that was
it's
hard for me too in the beginning, let me tell you, because I was like, people are gonna judge me because I'm not starting work till 1. They're gonna think I'm lazy. They're gonna think that I don't do anything.
mm,
I remember going grocery shopping at 10 in the morning one time thinking somebody was gonna tell on me. Who were they gonna tell, Jax? Who are they gonna tell?
other than the fact to be thankful that you have the kind of life exactly what you're promoting, that you can create your own
Yeah.
schedule, right? Because you're just walking your talk. But it's funny how we can just minimize it and make it something bad, right?
Yeah. Oh, she doesn't work. She's not doing
Right.
anything. But I am, because
Well,
when I'm not with clients, I'm creating stuff. I'm creating my podcast. I'm doing other things. Like, it's funny.
right. It's funny how we automatically what we're doing is wrong, and it's like no,
Mhm.
I am the type of person that can
Yeah,
take
I'm the
care of
type of
myself.
person.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm the type of person that gets to decide what time I start my day at.
exactly, and that's exactly it. So let's talk about that last session where you randomly said you need a podcast. What the hell made you say that?
I mean, I'd been with you for like 7 weeks before that, so I'm watching you and I'm listening to you, and you would say things like your can't statement was a big thing, and I just remember looking at you and going, That's your thing, not your books." And you were like, "Huh?"
Well, I didn't even know how to do one. I had just started listening to podcasts. I didn't even know this was such a thing. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
which is I was like, "You again, your voice carries frequency. Everybody's voice carries a frequency. You're designed to speak. You The whole time I knew you, you are a great storyteller." So I was like, "You need to be speaking to people." And that's why I was like, "You need to be having a podcast and putting this out there." And then after you got over the part where I think you thought I was crazy, I was like, "You need to sit with this." And then I knew you had to talk to Jen Dragonette. I was like, "You have to talk to her." And now look at you.
You are the spark, and then she is all of the flame and oxygen and everything. Because she gave me the space to say no to my past on how I did things, and to
Mhm.
really actually do this from a place of being it's okay for me. It's funny that you said that about my voice has frequency because I was just talking about this today at work that I am the perfect spy or drug dealer because no one recognizes me. Even though if you can see my outfit right now, I am brighter than fuck. And I wear bright colors and I have hats and I have all this kind of stuff, but I am invisible until I speak. And then my voice does something. I have been um commented, I'll put that because most of the time they say it and it can be good or bad, so I'll just make it neutral. I have commented on how much I talk, that I'm a talker, and that I'm loud. Okay. And I have been told that all the time. I actually have one of my podcasts is how I jaxified someone who complained that I was loud. I have heard more times than not that if I'm in a building and I'm loud and my voice echoes, then the entire building goes, like mom's
Yeah.
here. There's just this, you don't have to worry. Jax is here. Everything will be taken care of. And it's weird. My voice has that energy, and I have no idea how it comes from that because I'm
Because it's
been a,
how you're designed. It's your design. It's your energetic design. It's who you are. It's part of
there you
your
go,
purpose of why you're here.
is my
It's your
voice. Yeah.
voice.
And that was for me is that I realized that it's my voice. And I thought, well, podcast is perfect. I Right. What's one belief you refuse to coach someone through until they're ready?
Oh, that is such a good question. Wow. One belief. I don't know if it's a belief per se, but people have to be ready to see the truth of things that maybe they're not expecting. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I don't want people to be like, I don't want all my trauma and all this stuff to come up. I just, if people are not ready to see themselves and connect into themselves, I can't help them. So I don't know if there's a specific belief per se. Now I'm going to be thinking about this when we're not on this. I'm going to be like, this is such a good question. Yeah, I can't think of like a specific belief that I wouldn't coach somebody through.
Because you, like, say, for instance, there's another one here. It said, this just isn't working.
Well, here's the thing. By the time people come to me and they invest and they want to work with me, I know that they're ready to work through their beliefs, is what I'll say. The thing about this just isn't working, I'm going to break this down into a story. So when I first started doing this work and I was talking about hypnosis to my parents, and my dad said, "Well, you can't hypnotize me." And I was like, "You're right, because you just said I couldn't." So if somebody comes in and they're like, "Well, this just isn't working," you're right. It's not going to work because you're already attached to the belief that it's just not working. So I can't change your mind. I can't change that belief. So maybe that's the belief also, is like, if you believe that it just isn't working, then I can't coach you through that because you've already made up your mind. When you come in and you're curious, the possibilities are endless. It's like when my mom is like 78, they go on cruise ships all the time. She's quiet in normal life, like typically. She's the first one up on the stage doing the stage hypnosis because she believes that she can act as crazy as she wants, and it doesn't matter because it was the hypnosis. But the truth is, and you know this, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So we're not going to do anything that we wouldn't do in our awake life. But she
Or
gets
if
excited.
that was her, like, people use alcohol for that reason. It
Yeah,
gets
they
rid
get
of your
to be,
inhibitions. Yeah.
yeah.
And your mom used
So,
hypnosis just like that.
yeah. So if people come in, they're like, well, this just isn't working. I mean, I'll help them try to work through why they think that. And to be honest, again, the people that I attract, they aren't those people. I don't work with victim mindset people. It's why I have the calls first, because I want to make sure that we resonate with each other. And I want to make sure that you don't want to just hold on to your shitty stories. Because if you just want to hold on to the shitty stories, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't help
Maybe
you.
that's it. That's the one that would be like, that would be the refuse to coach someone.
I tried in the beginning to help all of the people. I wanted to help everybody, but
Mhm.
I don't work with victim mindset people. I can't because they don't want to change. It's not my job to make you change. It's my job to lead you. My role in your journey is to lead you and to help you see what's possible. I can't force you to change.
Maybe that's
Creepy.
the difference when you're coming into your type of work, is that it's almost like, okay, I have all of this stuff to cook a cake. I have all the pans. I got the oven. I got all the ingredients, but I'm lost. And I
Yeah.
have all of these things, and I've tried it in the past, and I burnt it or flopped it or whatever. So help me start again. And I think that's the difference. Is that
Wow, what a great
um
analogy. I might steal that. It's like, it is. You have all the ingredients and all the stuff, and everybody might bake their cake differently. I'm not giving you the
Mhm.
same recipes.
Mm-mm. Well, think about, there's cheesecake. There's all how many different kinds of cake. There's cake, there's white cake, there's marble cake. There's all
Also,
these
if people
different
are
kinds of
actually
cake.
coming to me for baking, they're in trouble because I can't bake to save my life.
That's why you gave me the look. Don't talk to me about the cake. I don't know what the cakes are. But yes, but that's true. And it's really funny. You know what the last one in here is? A rapid fire questions is abundance in one word. No thanks. No, just clarity.
Actually, that would be my answer. No.
No, I am.
It's
It's funny to say that, as that I'm done with the abundance. That I've gotten now to a level that I really want to be specific of what I want. I
I
want to
love the
ask
word
for.
prosperity. I love the word wealth. I like I just I love the word rich because it doesn't necessarily just mean money. We can be rich with experiences, but when it comes to money, even prosperity, I love that word because it means the money's coming in, but it's also going out. Like we're circulating it because
Mhm.
that's the other challenge. We don't just want stuff to come in. We want to come in so it can go back out. It's energy. It's a circle. I love the word prosperity.
Me too. It's now my new word. It really is, because I am done with all of that.
So you could say I'm the type of person that is prosperous. I would say for people, if they're curious about stuff, I have my free 30-minute subconscious success blueprint call, which is we hop on a Zoom for 30 minutes. I'm going to lead people through a very structured process so we can see where there might be some patterns, some subconscious stuff limiting them. And then they'll have a clear path forward, whether that's working with me or doing other things. It's not me hopping on a call going, work with me. It's me saying, hey, here's what's going on.
You'll know. That's the thing. It's almost like you'll just sit there and it'll be either yes or no. There's no whatever. Oh, and also don't forget to talk about your little energy 4-minute thing.
Oh, yeah. My daily energy management practice. I mean, we've been talking about energy so much. It's 4.5 minutes. It's a free download. I'll give you the link for it. People, I'm telling you, when you're safe and contained in your own energetic field, everything starts to change. It seems weird, but seriously, it's 4.5 minutes. I guide you through a little meditation. It'll change your life. If you do nothing else but that consistently, you will notice a difference in how people respond to you, how you respond to things. It's foundational. Energy is the foundational stuff of what I do.
Yes.
But I just don't lead with that because it freaks people out.
It's intangible. That's the problem. And we have so many people claiming what it is and what it isn't. That it just makes people...
That's a whole nother podcast. Don't even get me started on that.
I know. But thank you, my darling.
I love that.
I encourage everyone that listens to this to get in contact with you if they're meant to and they can feel it, because then they can experience what I experienced or more. And I'm very thankful you came into my life. It's very interesting how I found my core people now. And it's just sometimes you never know where you're going to go and who you're going to meet along the way. And that's basically our story. Because we're not involved with the people that how we met each other in the first place. We have nothing to do with that anymore. And now
sometimes you got to kiss some frogs. Isn't that the saying?
Yep. Just
sure is.
All right, darling. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you too. Take care. Bye. Well, that wraps up our episode, my darlings. And thank you for sharing your Canada Day if you're listening on Tuesday with me and my other my other microphone waving Canuck. And if you are interested in working with Brenda, doing her 30-minute chat, or get her 4-minute energetic reboot, you can reach all of her stuff at Brenda Johnston. Now there's a T. Sometimes I believe that people think that she's a Johnston, but you will get the T on things with Johnston.com. So again, Brenda-Johnston.com. And so next up on our mental health podcast journey, we're going to talk about that 50-year-old miracle that I received in this episode. It's a crocheted item, which is quite the surprise if you're thinking about how a crocheted item could heal a 50-year-old wound. That's coming up next. We're then going to be talking to a board-certified hypnotist. If I am skim milk, she is the whipping cream of this industry. Add on to this mental health journey, we are going to talk about the 7 adopt-a-knots, the knots, the traps that keep us small, keep us powerless, keep us quiet. They are the 7 main knots that we get challenged with, as in episode 3. And the reason I call them adopt-a-knots is because the word adopt means to choose. There's the biggest word there. To choose, to take up, to follow, or to use. And these 7 life-altering, life-changing, life-limiting knots are coming up, and I'm very excited to share those with you. I have failed to mention in the past that all of my cursive writing books, the right, the left, the story, and the puzzle, are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. You can get the hardcover at Barnes & Noble online. If you want to get the PDFs or to better support a self-published artist, you can buy my books on www.crackthecursivecode.com. And you can also reach me at justjackspodcast@gmail.com. Leave your thoughts and how you feel about this show with a 5-star review, or at #HeyJax at Reddit. And with your permission, this could spawn a new episode. As always, working with you to turn your shit into fertilizer so you can bloom where you are planted. Love you. Jack's out.